This video here I'm going to talk about casting fins. I do have a previous video on it, but I do it a little bit differently. I'm just going to kind of show the process all over again. This is a tail fin off of a smallmouth that I cut. As you can see, I kind of cut the meat off. This will help me when I'll attach this to the form before I attach the skin. So by having this chunk of meat here, I know exactly how big the form that I'm carving. I know exactly the size it has to be. So that's why I leave that on there. If you watched my last video, I kind of casted all the fins on one big mold. It's definitely easier to just cast the fins individually. The only ones I'll cast together are like the pair fins. I'll do two on a mold. But here I have the bedding material from Taxidermy. I have it. You want to start with it pretty smooth, lay it out, and then we're just going to kind of put our fin in here and press it into the mold a little bit. And we'll just press the meat in first. Might even go underneath and just carve a little bit out where that meat's at. That way it sits in a little bit better. And then just kind of work your fin. Work your fin to a rough shape. Try not to get the bedding material on your fin too much. You just kind of press that into the bedding material. Kind of gets her shape pretty good. I'm just going to spritz a little water on it just to clean it, any of the stuff might have got on it, and then we'll just kind of brush that off. And we have that. We're going to take our bedding material and we're just going to build a wall around it, and then we'll be ready to mold. Okay. And once we kind of have everything ready, we just want to make a couple keyholes before we do our first pour. Just take pretty much anything. I'm just taking an eraser on a pencil and just pushing it in. Just something when we put our molds together and gives them something to lock into. We're going to use like a 50-50 of the body filler fiberglass resin mix. I have it all blended in here, but you want it to be pretty runny. That way it picks up all your details. If you don't mix it quite thin enough, you'll get air bubbles and then you won't get quite as good of a detail. So once you get it pretty thin, we're just going to pour it on nice and slow. We're going to start at the meat up here. And we're just going to pour it over slow and let it cover that fin up. Okay. This side's pretty well set up. So once it's set up, we're just going to take it over. Flip it over, and we're just going to peel our bedding material off of it. And that'll give us our half of a mold there. What we're going to do now, I'm going to take this over to the sink, and I'm just going to wash all of this bedding material off of it, and I want it off of the fins just so we keep that details. I'll take a I'll take a brush with me and I'll just kind of brush it off. Okay, we went ahead and we washed this mold off. We got it all pretty well cleaned off. Next thing we're going to do, we're going to take a dryer and we're just going to blow dry it. We want the mold to be really dry and we want the fins to be pretty dry. Once we have that dry, I'm going to take mold release. I'm just going to kind of spray a coat on here. And then I'm just going to build the wall back up. And we'll be ready to pour coat too. Okay. So got the wall back up. I'm going to take a second coat of our release spray and go ahead and spray it on there now. Now we're going to do the same 50-50 mix of the body filler and fiberglass resin as we did before and pour it right on top. Okay, at this point our mold is set up, so we'll go ahead and tear our wall down. And I'm just going to take a little flat screwdriver and we're just going to go ahead and pop our mold open. It should come open pretty easily. And there we have our mold. Let's zoom in here a little bit. And you can see our mold. You can see how well it picks up the details. So we have a nice detail mold of our fin. Next thing we gotta do is prep this up. We're gonna take it to the sink. We're gonna wash it off. Any pieces of fin that would have got in here, we're gonna scrub off. Any of the meat that got stuck in here. All right, at this point we have them washed. I'm gonna take my dryer here again on it. I just want them completely dry. So at this point we have them dried off. What we're going to do, I have a mold release in a wax form. I'm going to rub that on this mold here. I'll do this for the initial mold, and then after that I will use just that spray release. So it's just a blue waxy mold release, and I'll just work it all over the mold here. Alright, both sides filled with the wax. I will go ahead and spray with that universal release again. Now we're going to put this together. Okay, and before we pour it, we're going to take a little bit of hot glue and we're just going to work it into these cracks all around. As you can see, we have our opening here. We're just going to pour our material down into here. But first thing we're going to do is put super glue or hot glue the whole way around here. And we just fill that crack in there, and it just prevents us from losing material as we pour it. And what I use for this is I use smooth cast, the I use the smooth cast 325. I mean, there's different materials you can use, but this is it'll dry mostly clear, so it works pretty good for that, and it seems to hold up pretty well. And it's a 50-50 mix. Just stir it up real good. You can get it in different set times. I think this one gives me like probably a 7 to 10 minute working time, and it's usually full cure in an hour or so. Fill it to the top and give it a little shake. Try to work any air bubbles up. Work it down in any crevices. And being that you have this meat pocket up here that we filled it that full, it'll allow any of this to trickle down in, and our hot glue should seal it in without any of it coming out. We'll let this set up and then we'll have our fin. Okay. So we have our mold done now. Yeah, we'll just go ahead and we'll peel the hot glue off here. I probably didn't mix it 50-50. As you can see, I got a little bit of a cast, but that's also reacting a little bit to the reliefs that I put in there. Most of the time when I do it, it is pretty clear when it comes out. Usually the first time I'll get a little bit of a cast, but it also depends on how 50-50 I actually mixed it. I don't usually weigh them, I usually just kind of eyeball it. And we're just going to want to pry it carefully open here. Okay. Okay, there we have our fins. And they look pretty white, but you can see they're transparent enough that they show the light through it pretty good. So we'll end up sanding these edges a little bit, cleaning them up, and you want to rough these edges in so you have a neater end. You don't want this super smooth on the end. It just doesn't give you quite the look that you want. But now that we have our fin, we can attach them into our form, and then you can get ready to mount them. Like I said before, I just like to put these in. Here's my form. It's a form that I carved. You can see I leave the tail a little bigger. You can see where it's going to end up. So that's about the size that it should be. And it just helps to line everything up, because this is the size the meat was. So I know how much I have to take off of my form to get it to the size that we need. So that's kind of the way I do it that way. I just like the casted fins because it gives you your exact fin that you had. You don't have to worry about rebuilding shrinkage. When you use the real fin, you're gonna have a lot up in the meaty part. It's gonna shrink pretty hard. I mean, you get away with it commercially, but I feel like this gives me a little nicer quality for the customer. So that's the way I like to do it. You definitely can do it with the real fins, but this is just the way to do it this way. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. There will be a material list in the bottom. Should have links to most of the products that I used here, or at least the item number for you and where you can order it from. Any questions, just leave a comment. Thank you.